we should also maybe toward the end do a group picture. I feel like that would be really fun for all of us.
That would be great.
And do we want to record this?
Yeah, let's record it. Yeah, why not? I'll have it as a reference.
Yeah, if folks are comfortable, if everyone is comfortable, we would obviously love to ask your opinion first, permission to do that.
If we get any dissenting, we will avoid it altogether. Obviously, we'll send all of the documentation from the conversation to you all. So this won't be the only time you hear it. So if anyone's not okay with the recording, we'll just take that as the no for everyone, and then obviously we'll continue to share out the information. That was the plan. I'm not seeing any dissenting yet. All right. Great. All right. So yeah, Jackie, seems like most folks are okay. If we get a no anytime soon, we'll stop it.
Perfect.
Cool. So I'll wait till the recording gets going. All right. I don't know if it's showing as recording on your side yet, Jackie. Still loading on my side.
Looks like it's still loading as well.
Okay. Cool.
We do have an area for folks to ask questions. So there's a Q&A.
Cool. Okay, yes, we can talk about that. First, let me say welcome, everyone. Congratulations to you and your team for making Top 100 in our Global Solution Challenge 2023. It is amazing, amazing achievement that you all have made it here. We had well over 2,000 application submissions this year, which is the most we've had in any year, and you have come to the top. So huge, huge, huge round of applause to you all. I'm seeing the emojis on the screen. It is so, so well deserving. And I hope that this next phase in the process will continue to support you as you iterate on your projects with the support of Google experts to get you to the next phase. And we'll see some of you in the final 10. So I'm going to continue admitting, folks. I see a lot of crab emojis. I always love when folks use that. I'm like, what does that actually mean for you? We can get into that in a little bit. So I am Rachel. As you all know, I am, or maybe most of you don't, but I am based here in New York City. I am the global program manager, for developer student clubs. This is my first year as part of the community, and I'm so happy that I'm able to experience Solution Challenge for such a groundbreaking year as far as the kind of activity and engagement that's coming from you all. And today is really just an opportunity to celebrate and acknowledge all of your work that brought you to this moment, and talk about what the next phases of the Solution Challenge is here today. So I have some members of our team here. We have Jackie, who we've been getting tons of communications from throughout these last several months. So she's here, and I'm happy for her to be a part of the presentation. And we also may have another colleague, Sid, who recently joined the team, and he's been helping on the back end with a lot of the communication and preparing our assets. So let's get started. So this is our agenda for today. So obviously we did a welcome. I'll talk through what we have prepared for you, and then the next steps. We have a quick group activity just to be able to get a sense of who's all in the room for you all to connect. And then we'll review the timeline in the mentorship phase, and then what will happen thereafter, and then open it up for questions and answers. So Jackie began to mention where you can actually drop your questions. So if you look at the bottom right hand of your screen, you'll see a triangle, a square, and a circle. And there is a question mark 3 options down that says Q&A. That is where you can start inputting your questions as we move through the presentation. Some of them we may be able to answer live, depending on if it's most appropriate, but we'll move them to the designated section. So please put them there. We'll see your questions and we'll get through all of them there. Once we are in the question and answer, if some folks have a follow-up to the question that we're discussing, you can raise your hand and then we're happy to call on you to respond or provide any detailed clarification to the question so that we can respond to you most appropriately. Cool. All right. Next slide. So in the chat, I know some of you already started to do that. If you can jot where you are joining from, where in the world are you? I know we are covering many, many time zones. Some of you are up super early. Some of you have stayed up super late. Others, this is a sweet spot. So would love to see where we have folks calling in from around the globe. We have Nairobi, Indonesia, Tokyo, India, Malaysia, Kazakhstan, Malaysia, India, Indonesia, Korea. Keep dropping it in. Truly, truly a global attendee list. Taiwan, Vietnam, Philippines, Nigeria. Cool. Oh, this is great. Wow. Y'all are up. Y'all are some dedicated folks. We obviously know that because this is where I got you. But the time, like where you're calling from, is truly an indication of wanting to be here and celebrate and your commitment to this effort. Awesome. Well, we're still letting some folks in. Make sure you represent in the chat: Germany, Brazil, Singapore, Morocco. Amazing. For those who just joined, we're just dropping in the chat where you're joining us from around the globe. And we are just getting started with our agenda, so you haven't missed anything. Great. So we have more activity that we want you to engage. I know folks have already started to use some of the crabs and the celebration horn. So if you are new to Google Hangout, Google Meet, you'll see now there is a series of emoji reactions that you can use at the bottom of your screen. So please feel free to activate those and share how you're feeling. Jackie, want to pass it off to you.
That sounds good. Yeah, I love that they've incorporated these reactions. We use these a lot. And so we thought it'd be fun to ask a couple of questions to you all. So I have a couple questions that I'm going to ask, and you guys are already using the reactions, but would love to see your responses to these questions. So as I ask, just feel free to choose one of the emoji reactions that represents how you feel about the questions. So the first question is, how are you feeling right now? Lots of crabs.
Lots of crabs.
Yeah. Similar to Rachel, yeah, I love the crab emoji. Yeah, I'm super excited. Again, congratulations to you all. All right, lots of crabs, lots of laughter. I love this. Thumbs up. More crabs. I gotta say, I think the crab one is probably, it seems like the crowd favorite here. So the next question is, how are you feeling about the mentorship phase? See some hearts, some more crabs, some clapping, maybe some surprise.
Yeah.
Or uncertainty.
We got curious, happy, wandering.
I love this.
excited.
Mm-hmm. All right. And the last question is, how are you feeling about your classes right now? So we've got some sadness, thumbs up, more crabs. I'm sure everyone is ready for the semester to come to a close. I hope you all have some fun summer plans. Some of you may be taking summer classes as well. So sleeping. Oh, I see some folks in the chat as well. Oh, it's already summer term. Amazing. All right. So we thought it would be fun to chat with you all and get your responses in emoji reaction form. So moving on to our next slide, you can use your phone to look at the QR code here. And this is actually going to, this links directly to our website, which has the full list of 100 teams. Rachel, do you want to click over and scroll through those real quick?
Yeah, we can do that. Let me get that set up in 1 second.
Amazing. So I hope most of you have seen our external website here. If you click under the winners tab, we have the full list of 100 teams. That's all of you. They're listed in alphabetical order, and love that you all provided your names and your team information so that we could also include that. We're very proud of you. You've put a lot of work in. So we definitely recommend, feel free to share this on social, send this to your family, your friends, share with your favorite professors. Yeah, congratulations. Yeah, so you can go here anytime to look at that list. And as we continue moving through the solution challenge, you'll be able to see the other winners here. And there is some other information on there as well that you can check out, including the terms and conditions. And we'll jump into that in a little bit. But yeah, there are other resources here that you guys can utilize during the mentorship phase. So definitely continue to look back at this site for those resources. We have the timeline there as well. There's lots of videos here for you all. Perfect. All right. So I'm going to be talking to you about the timeline coming up and the mentorship phase. So let's start with a timeline here. So we are officially moving into this third main section of the solution challenge. And so you all have submitted and obviously moved on to the next phase. And so we love that we're able to provide you all an opportunity to work one-on-one with a mentor that you've been matched with. And you'll have the next month to meet with them and iterate on your projects. So after that, you'll be able to resubmit your projects, and then we'll have the judges look through them again, similar to the last time. So Rachel, if you want to move on to the next slide. And then after this mentorship phase here, like I said, we'll move into the next round of judging, and then we'll narrow down to the top 10 teams. And then those teams will prepare for demo day, where they'll be presenting their demos live on August 3rd. Okay, so let's get into the details here of what to expect during the mentorship phase. So this is super important. We've just matched you all with your mentors, and we'll be providing that information to you soon. We'll be following up with an email, and we'll give you that information. So you'll be using a platform called Advoku to meet with your mentor. They're going to be putting some dates and times that they're available. And then what you'll do is you'll log on to the platform, choose one of the times that you're available that you'd like to meet with your mentor. And we'd love for you to meet with your mentor once a week for up to 4 times. And so we'll be sharing a deck that has detailed instructions on how to use Advoku, but it's pretty easy. And you can always reach out to us with any questions about that as well. But the most important part is after this meeting and after we're able to follow up with you on how to get on the Advoku platform, it's really important that you meet with your team and think about booking your first meeting with your mentor. Even before you talk about exactly what your plan is, it's best to just go ahead and get that on the books as soon as you can, so that you can meet with for the 4 times. Next is going to be actually sitting down and meeting with your team and creating a full 4-week plan. So I recommend meeting with them sort of like workshop style. Sit down, look at your schedules over the next 4 weeks, look at your project in depth, think through what the most challenging parts were, where you may have wanted to iterate that you didn't quite have the full opportunity to. Look back at your user feedback and see which features you might want to incorporate, and think through, how long might it take, and any other just questions that you have about being able to iterate on your project. So as you're meeting with your team, write all of that down. And then, write all of those detailed questions down and come up with a schedule over the next 4 weeks. And then when you meet with your mentor, we think it would be great to present this to them, go over it with them, ask for their feedback, and then present some of those questions and some of those ideas and features that you wanted to implement and iterate on, and get their feedback on that. And then you can modify your plan accordingly, and then start to work over the next couple of weeks to then actually iterate and build that out in your solution, and then go through the testing phase again. And then at the very end, you'll have the ability to resubmit, as we talked about. Let's see. The other area to think about is roles and responsibilities. So, make sure that within your team, that's another part that you're thinking about, who is going to be taking care of what, and just have that detailed schedule out. So that's going to be the process. So again, as soon as you're able to, after we share the slides with you on how to get onto Advoku and signed up for that, go ahead and select a time to meet with your mentor first, and then talk to them about kind of some ideas that you have, and then sit down and go ahead and create that plan in a detailed way, and then continue to work through that with your mentor over the next 4 weeks. So we wanted to provide the submission criteria again. I had a lot of teams email me and ask questions about, which parts they could have done better. They're asking for feedback, and so what I suggested is I think it'd be really helpful to, as you're kind of thinking through which areas you can improve on in your solution, to actually take a look at the submission criteria, take a look at the responses that you provided in your original submission, maybe even connect with a friend or a faculty member, definitely your mentor for sure, and discuss these. And just work one-on-one to make sure that in those responses, because you'll have an opportunity to update them, or if you want to provide a completely new response when you resubmit your projects, to just make sure that you've read the entire question and that you've answered the entire question. So I think this is a really great place to start when you're thinking about how you're going to prepare your responses for resubmitting. Okay, so let's talk about prizes, because these are super exciting. And again, you all have done an amazing job. So as a part of being one of the top 100 teams, you're going to get mentorship. And again, you've been partnered one-on-one with a mentor based on the technology that you used, based on your SDGs, and based on the expertise of the mentors. We are also going to be sending you a Solution Challenge branded t-shirt. We'll be reaching out with more details on that soon. We'll also be sending you a Top 100 Solution Challenge certificate and a Global Top 100 badge. Congratulations again. And moving into the next set of prizes for the top 10 finalists, they will continue to work with their mentor through demo day. We have a special swag box that's customized for them. They'll also be presenting on the live stream demo day on August 3rd. We have a top 10 certificate and a top 10 badge for them. And they will also receive a cash prize of $1,000. And then for the top 3 winners, they are going to be getting a cash prize of $3,000. And they'll be featured on the Google Developers blog as well. And we also have the swag box that's a part of the top 10. So yeah, we're super excited for you all to go through this mentorship phase. We really want this to be something that's helpful to you all. And we want to know where we can best help support you. So as you're walking through this process, we definitely want to make sure that we're getting feedback from you all. We want to understand how we can continue to make that mentorship relationship better with you all. So that's something else from our perspective as a goal that we definitely want to make sure of. So I'll pause there for just a moment. Rachel, is there anything else you can think of that you wanted to touch on or add in?
No, I think you've done a great job, Jackie, just doing the review of what brought you here, right? Reviewing the criteria. So again, right, it's 2 components. It's the impact in your tech that have been used. So what areas are like, I wish we had more time to focus and drill down on. This is the opportunity to do that with a person who is well aware of the various Google technologies, or just another objective ear just to talk about what some of your SDG focuses are, and are you still meeting that end, right? Are you meeting the need of the user that you have in mind. So thank you, Jackie, for providing that. I see folks are starting to add questions, so keep them coming. We'll definitely dedicated time to answer that. So if you're putting it in the chat, we ask you to move it over to the Q&A section that you can find. If you navigate to the bottom of your screen, you'll see a triangle, a square, and a circle. If you click there, then there's an option for the Q&A, and that's where you want to drop your Q&A. So we want to make sure that we gather those. Thanks, Jackie. And I am going to talk a little bit more with y'all about mentorship. So we'll transition to the guidelines for that and help you prepare for this next phase. So these are some rules of engagement that we've identified to make it a really successful pairing between your team and the mentors that we've made available to you all. So I know you all are committed folks and professional and respectful, but I just wanted to resurface these just as reminders of how we would like you to engage with our mentors who are providing and volunteering their time to connect with you all. So first point here is to be on time. If you've scheduled a session, you want to make sure that you are ready to engage with your mentor. So we ask that you be there, being on time is being 5 minutes early. So if you're like, just be prepared, make sure your Wi-Fi connectivity is good, your audio is good. So just checking in, making sure that your equipment is available and prepared for those discussions. If you have scheduled a time and then you or most of the team is now unavailable to meet, we ask that you at least provide in as much advance as possible, a minimum 24 hours notice if you need to adjust your time with your mentor. Mentors are making time in between their work schedule often and other commitments. So we just want to be mindful of everyone's time and respecting that. So if there needs to be any change, to be able to notify each other as soon as possible. So 24 hours is the minimum that we're asking there. If you're comfortable, we ask you to turn on your cameras while you're in the call, just so that folks can meet each other in this virtual environment that we're still in. Turning on your mics, again, making sure your audio is good. At times, teams may decide we'll have one representative speak on behalf of the team. So preparing what you want to talk about before would be really great, outlining the questions or outlining some of your challenges. Some of you, your mentors, may be working with more than one team. So you want to make sure that I would do in your first session, I would recommend introducing yourselves, sharing where you are in the world, how you came up with your particular solution, and identifying the problem in your community. So giving kind of a TLDR, a quick overview of what your project is, and then you can get into the nitty gritty, details of your project. So that's the part of this coming prepared. So outlining your questions, identifying the areas that you really want to dig deep in with their support. So be open about your project needs and challenges. They are not evaluating you. They are here to support you. So there isn't a space that you shouldn't feel that you can be transparent or vulnerable about what was really challenging, whether it was around the team dynamic. It's like, hey, we're really trying to figure out what our roles should be, how to better define them so that we can work more collaboratively. Or we thought we were answering a question, but it feels like we're kind of moving out of scope. You can be as open with them, and they're here to support you. Again, they are not evaluating you. They're just trying to help you get to the next phase of the process. So be open about what your needs and challenges are. Again, and also be open for feedback. We like to say feedback is a gift around here. So receiving and giving it is truly a part of this mentorship opportunity. So remain curious, remain open in receiving what is proposed. It doesn't have to be applied, but at least considering the perspective that the mentor is offering you to see how that might be able to help enhance your project. And finally, remember to be polite and respectful. Not everyone communicates in the same way. So, if you're not necessarily an oral speaker, you'd rather type, you might want to share that with your mentor. It's like oftentimes I need to prepare, and I may provide you in advance the questions that we have, and I would like you to review it before we have conversation. Just be polite and respectful of what people's needs and learning modalities are, and sharing that aloud. So just want to highlight these things as guidelines for a truly successful partnership between your teams and the individuals who are supporting you as mentors. And so that, as Jackie said, we will send after this session a deck, a presentation deck of exactly what you need to do to get you set up on Advoku, which is the platform where you will start to schedule your sessions with your mentor. Again, that is just the platform to register you as a mentee team and to connect with your mentor. Your actual sessions will happen in a Google Meet, and you'll get all this information again in the deck, but I just wanted to highlight that just so that you understand all of the platforms that you'll be moving through, but you first need to get set up in Advoku. So with that, I am going to pause. I anticipate there's some questions that we can get answered. So let me move us over to the Q&A. All right. So the first question we have here is, can we organize the group chat either in Telegram or WhatsApp for networking purposes between all groups? Cool. And is the group chat in reference to your actual team and your mentor, or are you talking largely about all the global teams? DR, largely. Jackie, I think it's, if folks are down and open to being in another forum together, I would say go for it. If you want to create a chat or a WhatsApp space or Telegram, I would go ahead, send the link, and those who are interested can use that as a space to connect. I think the more, the better, in sharing and supporting each other, because this is truly a global community. You all are part of GDSC now through Solution Challenge. So please feel free to do that.
Yeah, and Rachel, it looks like someone already set it up, so that's actually great. I was going to ask the question if somebody would be able to do that. So, it looks like that's available in the chat here for folks that want to join. And I'm curious. Like, I know some folks use WhatsApp, some folks use Telegram.
Yeah, and depending on folks' capacity, and if you want to set up both, someone else can set up the other if that's most accessible to you, and then you can traverse that way. I know some folks are also on Discord, so that might be a space to find each other virtually as a community and to share where you are in the process and your experience as well. So the next question we have here, were mentors involved in the first round of the submission? Great question. They were not. So mentors are a new batch of folks. So they are learning about your project for the first time through your communications and conversations that you'll have. And again, they are not serving as evaluators in this round either. They're here to support you think through your projects of what you've submitted to date and what areas that you would like to enhance in order to be considered for the next round of judging to identify potentially your team as a final 10 team. Cool. The next question we have here, will top 10 winners receive cash prize or only 7 teams from this batch? So from the top 10 will receive cash prizes. It's different dollar value, a value amount for the 7, and then the remaining 3 that would actually move on to the winning 3 teams. So for the 7 of the 10, each member, Jackie, I want to have you correct me, will receive $1,000. And then for the winning team, each member would receive, Jackie, I'm going to ask you to say this one.
$3,000.
$3,000. Okay, I wanted to. So each team, so total, the top 10 will receive cash prizes, but the 7 will receive $1,000 each member, and then for the winning team, $3,000 each member. Cool. Hopefully that's clear. I know I was stumbling through words there. And then again, this is in the deck. It's also on our webpage where it outlines the winnings for each category. All right. Who do I contact if I have questions? I emailed the Google Solutions support team, but there's no reply from there. Okay, so that is a great question. So now that at first I want to apologize if you haven't received a response, and we can get to that. Maybe we need to connect offline and make sure that we get to your question. But for any questions remaining, you should be able to reach out to the team regarding if it's about your mentorship experience, what the criteria is. Again, Jackie and I are available to you. For questions around Advoku, we have a team member, Martina, who will be available. And this will also be detailed in the deck where we'll have the actual email accounts that you can reach out to for those particular questions. But if there is still an outstanding question that hasn't been responded to, please let us know, and then we can definitely prioritize that and get back to you as soon as possible. But I apologize for the delay. So the next question is, after the second phase begins, can we private our repo until resubmission? That's a great question. Jackie, what do you think here?
Yeah, I think that that's definitely fair. I know you all have worked really hard on your code, and I understand wanting to keep it private, especially until the resubmission. So I think that that's definitely fine, especially now that we have like a much smaller group. We just definitely want to make sure. I will be honest. When we were going through the pre-screening process, there were a lot of submissions that didn't have the correct one, and we had to provide some folks an opportunity to provide that. So definitely make sure, if you are going to keep it private until you resubmit, that you for sure modify that back before you resubmit. But yeah, I think that that's fine, and it's understandable.
Great. The next question we have here is, will the mentorship be more technical, or is it general about the business plan? It can be both or either. So some mentors are experts in a particular field, and depending, or excuse me, and then when I say particular field, particular Google technology or platform. So we try to match you all based on the Google tech that you used for your project and the SDGs. But at times it may just have been like the SDGs or time zone that was most compatible, and the technology may be something that's slightly new or not as like a deep domain expertise for your mentor. So I would first encourage you to learn more about what your mentor's area of expertise is, and see what would best be use of your time in discussing with each other, whether it is the business plan or the presentation portion of it, or iterating on the actual technical pieces of your project. But it can be all of those things if all of the things really align with your mentor in your project. Can top 100 teams get Google Cloud Platform credit? That's a great question. If you're continuing to iterate, Jackie, do we know if we can make that request, or if that's already baked into the process?
I think we can make the request and see if it's something that's possible.
Okay. Yeah. So let us get back to you on that. We'll make the ask this week and see if that is available. That's a great question. How does the presentation work? Is it online through Google Meet? So I'm assuming the presentation for demo day, right? If so, that will be a live stream. So it'll be a different platform where we can be able to get a full audience that's going to include our production team as well as our global team, plus all the folks that are joining internationally in order to present. As we get closer to that, there'll be a run of show, and you'll have a point of contact just to make sure that you're familiar with the platform and how the presentation will go. We'll provide you with essentially a time frame of like how you talk about your presentation, how you talk about your project, so that folks who are listening and learning for the first time understand what it is that you have decided to focus on, so then that can then be evaluated. So as we get closer to that, you'll have more details in preparation, but it will be a full on production with a number of other folks involved and you'll have a direct point of contact for support. All right, and I'm also mindful of time, so if people have to hop, please feel free to do so. Again, we'll make the recording available and all of the assets from this presentation available to you after the call. So there is an error in the solution challenge team information and needs to be corrected. So where should I suggest it? Yeah, Jackie, we can make those updates if it's around the team members or the naming of your team. We can definitely collect that information. Yeah, Jackie, should we just have them respond to our most recent email comms, and then we can address it that way? But I'm going to open it up to you.
Yeah, I think that might be the easiest. to reach out to the alias, and then we can go from there.
Okay, so we'll do that. So if you, can you reach out to the alias account, and then we will follow up there and we can make those updates to any of those teams. When will we get the certificates for the top 100?
So those were, we're currently working on those right now. So in terms of an exact date, we're hoping it's going to be pretty soon. So yeah, let me get back to you on that.
Great, thank you. Can mentoring sessions be held more than once? So yes, so your mentor is available to meet with you upwards of 4 times during these next several weeks, so through May 31st. So you can decide, Jackie had suggested once a week, so just so that you have a regular cadence of connecting, or you can upload those and have them all happening in 2 weeks, depending on how much time you feel like you need to iterate. You can space them out, but you have up to 4 sessions with your mentor through May 31st. Which do you think is more important, the completeness of the application or the idea? I would say both are pretty equally important, right? Because the idea is just kind of like your mind moving through, like how you're imagining what's possible, but then we actually want to see what the tangible product of that process, that thinking process was for you. So completeness can always, it can always be more complete. It can always be iterated on, but I think you want to just think about, for the immediate question or problem that you're trying to solve, like, was I able to have a proof of concept? Right? I think that's where we want to get you to demo day. It doesn't have to be something that is immediately available in the Play Store or on the web for folks, for thousands and millions of people to use. It could be, which is amazing, but I don't think it needs to be that robust in order to be able to move you to the next round of judging or to be identified as a winning team. Jackie, would you add anything else there?
I think you said it very well.
Cool. Yeah, so I would say both, and you've already got the idea to one stage of the process. So I think continuing based on that, you're in a good space. For us who are from French countries, will we have a mentor who can speak French? That's a great question. So there are some mentors who are multilingual, where English is not their only language, that you can inquire if that is a possibility to be able to connect in that preferred language. We tried to match folks with that, but it wasn't an exact science, or I should say, the equation didn't necessarily fall out that way. So I think it's best to make the ask and see if it's possible. But if you are having a challenging time communicating with your mentor, please let us know as soon as possible, and we'll see what options are available in finding a French speaker or another language of preference that would allow you to be more fluent in being able to get the support. Okay. When and how will the mentorship schedule be announced exactly? Again, this will be on Advoku. This is based on availability, mutual availability between your team and the mentor. But first, we need to get you signed up on Advoku and the mentor signed up, so then you can start to see some of the availability and what works for the team. It may not be, because team members are upwards of 4, and we're working with many time commitments across individuals. So it may not be all of your team member that can join. Maybe it's a representative joining on behalf of you all. So maybe that's something that you all talk about if the timing doesn't work to a perfect match for everyone, how you would want to coordinate that. Maybe you may even ask, can we record our sessions? Who would be taking notes in order to be able to provide feedback to the other team members who are not in attendance? But again, we need to get you on Advoku first, which will send that information to you soon after. I haven't received any email regarding the top 100 notification. I joined this meeting using my link my teammate gave me. Should I report to the organizer? Yeah, so if you can respond back to that most recent communication with your name and your team and the rest of your team members on there, that would be super helpful in us confirming your contact information and making sure that we have that on our side as up to date as possible, so you get information in real time. Okay. How many teammates can present? Like, can we have more than one team representative presentation? Yes, I've seen it. Like you can do rounds based on the time frame that you're given. You can say you get 30 seconds, you get 45 seconds, or you can evenly split. That will be dependent on your team. I advise that we hear from all of the members on the team, which would be great. And then you guys can create a script based on how you want to share the time together. So it doesn't have to be one person. Are we supposed to make the video again for submission again? I'm assuming I'm assuming for top 10? Jackie, do you want to respond to this one?
Yeah, this is a great question. If there's something that you want to improve about your video, I would recommend, maybe you can do some edits if you wanted to, like if you rewatched your video and realized, oh, I really wanted to add this part in. If you want to recreate it, you're more than welcome to. It's not a requirement, but we wanted to make sure to provide you all an opportunity as a part of this to iterate, right? Meet with your mentor, think through what else you want to implement into your solution, and as a result, that might change your demo video, right? Certain parts of it may not be relevant anymore, and so you may want to update it or even redo it. So that's definitely fine, but again, not a requirement.
Great, thanks, Jackie. So as far as GCP, Google Cloud credits, we will get back to you about additional credits that could be available. So hold on tight there. Is there an exact date for resubmission, or is it just in June? So the date that we have on our timeline is June 2nd for resubmission. After meeting with your mentors through May 31st, and then we'd have another round of judging to then announce the final 10. Yep, and again, around the language support, I would first talk to the mentor that you do have, see if that is available to them, a language available to them. But if not, let us know if it is a true hindrance in you being able to get the support from your mentor if you're not able to conduct it in English as the default language. We'll see if there's a possibility to get someone paired with you. Will we be judged based on how much our project was modified after the initial round? Jackie?
No, it's not going to be based on how much it was modified. The judges are just going to be looking just across all of the projects. And so for the ones that are resubmitted, they'll just be looking at that updated information. For those that decide not to resubmit, which we would love for you all to iterate and resubmit based on that new information, but totally up to you. So yeah, it won't be based on, they won't be looking at what it was and what it is now. The main goal of this is to just simply provide an opportunity for you all to iterate and modify your projects to make it more successful or to push beyond further than you were able to before.
Thanks, Jackie. And then I think the next question is similar in answer, and what Jackie just provided is adequate. Is it important to develop additional new features, or is it important to make current features more complete? Yeah, so it's not a requirement to add new features. I think if there were outstanding open-ended questions from the team as you submitted, that would be a space that I would prioritize rather than trying to add something new that feels less complete. And then also getting the feedback from your mentors as to like what are they seeing as gaps or opportunities for improvement for what you already have built. I think that would be a really wise way to spend your time rather than thinking of something brand new to incorporate. What do we submit for top 10? Again, it would just be any updates to your project that you have made through your mentorship conversations, an application of that feedback, and then you would just resubmit that, and that is what the judges would be reviewing. And Jackie, the questions aren't essentially any different, right? It's just that they would just be reviewing, those judges would just be reviewing this updated set of features or more completed ideas around the project you had already submitted. During the remaining period, should we develop what we previously wrote about the direction of service development in the questionnaire? I think, yeah, if there's been any development in a particular area based on user feedback that now you want to make sure is highlighted, I would definitely go, that is exactly what you would be resubmitting. You'd be making those responses more fuller or making them more full, and being able to say, this is kind of where we started and this is the trajectory of where we landed in this phase of submission. Yep, and then the last question is, can we get slides for this meeting presentation? Of course, we'll send these slides to you, plus the slides on how to get on Advoku and set up your availability and start scheduling time with your mentor. And Jackie has dropped in the chat spaces where you can reach out to us for your questions. So our alias account is Developer Student Clubs Support at google.com, and that's in the chat there if you want to copy it. Again, you can also respond to the comms, and that should directly go there for any questions and updates. Cool. So thank you all for hanging on a little bit longer than we had scheduled, but these are great questions. Again, we are so excited for you all to have reached this point in the process. Kudos, congratulations, blowhorn, balloons, all of the things, confetti. And we really do hope that the mentorship experience is worth your while and is able to provide you with the support that you need in order to push through and have it judged again to ideally land in the final 10. And I see that there was a hand raised. Want to come off mute and share quickly. Otherwise, thanks all.
Do we want to do a quick photo?
Oh, yeah, for those who stayed around, yeah, we can do a photo. So let me stop sharing. And if folks want to turn on their camera, I don't know how much we can get on the screen.
Yeah, for folks that feel comfortable, yeah, that way we can take a screenshot. Thank you again for joining us. It is so nice to see you all. We really are so proud of you.
And Jackie, are you able to get more dials on the screen?
Let me see. I wonder if trying to get as many folks as possible. Try 1, 2, 3. All right, and I think because we have the recording set too, we could probably grab a few others from the recording. So yeah, thank you all again. Congratulations.
Congratulations all. Thanks for making the time, and we will hear from you all very soon. You'll hear from us. Best of luck.